Ceann Comhairle, on behalf of the Fianna Fáil Party, I am pleased to confirm that we will be voting to support the Taoiseach's proposal to nominate members of the Government. The Government reflects the shared commitment of our three parties to an ambitious programme across the full term of this Dáil. Tugan na hanam nuchain agus na multi de Bhailan Rialtais Leirú Dhígris Reinte na Bartathe Rialtais an obair cuimseach agus uilmhínach atá idir lábha againn a thuirt chun críocha. I gcodas nacht leis an bhreasúra an seo sa Dáil, credimid go bhfuil our dír loidir agus gur féidir le a bheith níos fearr fós. Fadas nachan an bhreasúra go bhfuil aon dul chun cinn déanta in aon ghinné de héal na tíre seo. Tá gach aon duine animathe agus molta le haig ifice i níige gomis agus an nuathracht a heispáint chun éire níos láidre agus níos cothirime a chin tú agus a heláthar. I broig gach duine díobh le chéile a chláir saléir gníomhach a cheasan I godasnacht le polisathe dúilteacha mílteacha daoine agus páirtithe eile. I believe that to be returned as a member of this House and to be nominated to high office is an honour and a responsibility. We are in government not to keep things as they are, but to help our country to progress, to address the needs of both today and the years ahead, to be both honest and ambitious in serving our growing and diverse society. This is reflected in our agreed programme and in the priorities of each minister in government. There is not the time available to go into every element of the government's work and repeat many of the debates we have here each day. I will, however, address a number of special priorities. My decision to take up the roles of Minister for Foreign Affairs and Minister for Defence reflects the fact that my party and the government as a whole view these as critical to our nation. At this moment of ongoing threat against European democracy, maintaining and building on Ireland's role will be central to my work. There are many vital discussions which will be held over the next 2 years, and Ireland will be advocating for a Europe which works with urgency and ambition to expand its role. We will support democracy and the rule of law, leaving no doubt where our country stands on these fundamental issues. It is my intention to strengthen our support for Ireland's international economic, cultural and academic impact, ensuring that we go further in reaching out to both existing and new networks of individuals and groups who want to engage with Ireland in its modern diversity. I look forward to working with our excellent diplomatic corps in the works ahead. Nearly a quarter of a century after the victory of democratic politics, represented by the Good Friday Agreement and the referendums, we've done too little to fulfil the promise of what Seamus Mallon so wisely termed a new dispensation. The restoration of the democratic institutions in Belfast is a core priority for us. We will continue to work in good faith and urgency to resolve the blockages to restoration. I have no doubt that our colleagues in the European Union will continue in their commitment to finding a way of implementing agreements between the United Kingdom and the European Union. It is in the interests of everyone for us to move on to the more important work of delivering economic development for the benefit of all. It is an honour to take the position of Minister for Defence. The loss of Private Sean Rooney and the injuries to Trooper Shane Carney this week are another reminder to us of the service of Óglaigh na hÉirdean to our democracy and values. At our toughest moments, they stood against those who would destroy our democracy, and internationally, they have brought great honour to our country. I am very conscious of the many issues facing our defence forces, and I will work with my colleagues to focus on improving the quality of working life for those who wear the uniforms of Óglaigh na hÉirdean. I look forward to working with the leadership of our defence forces, the various representative bodies and the wider community in helping to modernise and strengthen their work. By every available measure, our economic situation today is dramatically better than it was 2.5 years ago. Ireland has moved into a recovery faster and more comprehensively than any comparable country. The very reason why we are in a position to invest in public services is that our work to limit job losses and support recovery have been highly successful. The exchange of roles by Deputy Michael McGrath and Deputy Paschal O'Donoghue reflects the agreement of our parties to respect balance within the government once the office of An Taoiseach rotated. Our core fiscal policy will continue to be to support a strong economy and use the resources it generates to implement sustainable improvements in critical public services and investments. We are going to continue with urgent work to address issues such as insurance costs and other costs which impact on every business and household. We are also going to move forward with reforms to significantly speed up delivery of critical infrastructure central to supporting our economy, combating climate change and building new homes. Ministers McGrath and O'Donoghue have worked well together, and this particularly showed itself both in the preparation of budgets and in the development of the economic recovery measures which have helped so many through the pandemic and in the months afterwards. I have no doubt that this strong cooperation will continue. Delivering a step change in the provision of new homes is an absolute priority for this government. We have already initiated a new era in social and affordable housing. We will reform planning laws so that objections are dealt with both speedily and fairly, and challenging the growing impact of unreasonable delays and blockages which prevent essential housing. During this week's confidence debate on Deputy Darragh O'Brien, it was clear that there is not even the beginnings of a credible alternative to his plan. I have no doubt that in the rest of our term he will continue to drive new construction, and he will continue to defeat opposition representatives when they make themselves available for substantive debate rather than the sound bites they prefer. The expansion of investment in education is a priority for us. Deputy Norma Foley has overseen a steady reduction in class sizes, a radical increase in the number of schools included in the DESH programme, an expansion of supports for pupils with special needs, and the beginning of the largest programme of school refurbishment and construction in our history. She will continue this work and will also bring forward a reform of the Leaving Certificate which reflects the challenges and opportunities which young people face in today's world. I would like to acknowledge the work of Deputy Stephen Donnelly, his Ministers of State and the officials of the Department of Health in both responding to the pandemic and working to address longer-term concerns. Health will continue to be a priority for this government, and it will be a central concern for our work across government. We must address the impact of the pandemic on waiting times and move forward with developing critical new services through the country, in particular in the fields of women's health services, mental health services and disability supports. Our family farmers remain critical to rural and community life in our country. The wider food industry represents a sector which gives secure, well-paid employment throughout the country and is one area where our indigenous industries are world leaders. Deputy Charlie McConlogue has led his department in delivering important supports and reforms in the past 2 years. The new legislation for pricing transparency and fairness marks a new moment for farming, and the commitment to support farmers in achieving secure and sustainable incomes will remain at the core of his work. As everybody in this House will acknowledge, Minister Jack Chambers has been an extremely efficient and effective Chief Whip. He has ensured that we have enacted a major body of legislation, and he has also been a very effective minister in developing sporting facilities and support throughout the country. In moving to the role of Minister attending Cabinet with responsibility for transport, aviation and logistics, he will be responsible for a critical element of our commitment to both improve public services and infrastructure and decarbonise our economy. We need both public and private transport to make a major contribution to achieving the urgent climate targets which we have agreed. And this includes the road haulage sector, which is so important to everything in our economy, but sometimes is often overlooked. I had not been intending to directly respond to today's speeches, but I think it is important to address the comments by the Leader of the Opposition, Deputy MacDonald, this morning. I think she has confirmed that, according to Sinn Féin, they can find nothing positive to comment about in our country. Nothing has ever been achieved. There is no progress to be acknowledged. I think there is a cold, harsh cynicism to be found in Sinn Féin's comments today. Today must seem quaint to them in comparison to the non-stop carousel we have seen from them in trading both elected and ministerial offices in Stormont. When Deputy MacDonald claims, as she did with energy earlier today, that we claim everything is fine and want to change nothing, she is of course ignoring everything we have been saying. We very acutely understand the need to provide more housing for people to rent or buy. We see that people need help with rising bills or access to essential health services. However, unlike Deputy MacDonald, we believe in taking action. The true divide in politics is between those who see problems and want to solve them and those who simply want to exploit them. This is a government determined to take on even the most complex and difficult problems, to support a strong society and strong economy, to show respect for others and to work constructively with the mandate we have from the Irish people. In 2.5 years, we've helped our country in ways which any fair commentary would acknowledge, and in doing so, we showed our commitment to the best values of public service. We understand how much more is still to be achieved, and each of our parties, as well as every person nominated to serve as a minister, is determined to deliver for the Irish people. Thank you. Ceann Comhairle.